Hi guys, and you're welcome back once again to LearnCity. In our class today, of course, we are going to talk about the preparation of contract account. Like, I mean the calculation aspect as it relates to contract accounts, because as you are viewers, you may want to find yourself in a situation that you want to need a little calculation as it relates to contract accounts. Let's say if you have a contract with someone and you want to do a simple calculation as it relates to that. Of course, this class, count yourself lucky for it. You're going to gain a little bit of knowledge in contract accounts. So, without wasting much of your time, let's go. When we are talking about the preparation or the calculation as it relates to contract account, in solving our question for contract account, we need to know that the cost of materials purchased directly or that are being issued from the store, all those stuff will have to appear on the debit side of the contract account. And the materials returned, the materials that are being returned to stores, all those material will have to appear on the credit side. So if this little stuff I said is being understood, then solving our questions as it relates to preparation of contract accounts will be easy to solve. And also, you guys need to know that when the credit side of contract account is more than the debit side, of course, this generally indicates a profit in contract account and not a loss at all. So, in accounting, this situation, we refer this kind of situation as a credit balance in the account. So guys, I will take just two short questions as it relates to our contract account. And the question is quite straightforward. Let me take first question now. I have to read it out before solving it, of course, to know the key stuff in our question. The question goes like this. A company's contract ledger, it shows the following details in respect of contract number 50. You can see they specify the contract to number 50, which commenced on April 1st, 2019. Okay, that's fine. And the materials issued was 76,000 US dollar. Wow, that's much. And the direct wages is 80,000 US dollar. It's also much. And the cost of special plants is $20,000. They also give us chargeable expenses. They give us establishment charges, which is $5,000. And they gave us an additional information. The contract was completed by 31st March 2020 at a contract price of $200,000. I have interest in this $200,000. Sorry, guys. Okay, the values of the materials and plants that are being returned to store on the 31st March 2020 were $6,000 and $12,000 respectively. Whoa, okay. And the contract price was received in full on 31st March 2020. So they now required us that we should prepare a contract account and contractee's personal account. That question now, as I just go through the question, they told us to, in the requirements aspect, they told us to prepare contract account and contractee's personal account. Of course, I'm going to prepare it too. In case you find yourself in a situation to prepare a contract account, there's no issue for that. So let's go to the solution. As I always do in our class, the first thing is for me, I'll have to write the solution first. Okay, solution now. In the question, they told us that the name of the contract is contract number 50, right? That will be in our heading. So, for us to know what we are solving for, we are solving for contract number 50. Okay? Contract number, sorry, contract number 50. Of course, We have to roll it, right? Fine. Contract number 50. That is what we are solving for. All right. So don't forget our money sign. We are using dollar for this course. We are using dollar. Also on the debit side too. All right. I have provided a simple layout to make our work easier. So in the question now, they give us the materials that was used, right? I mean the material that was issued and the amount. When we are talking about the material that was issued now, in contract accounts, they deal with contracts, right? The contract can be any type of contract, but they will not specify that for us in the question. And this now, they deal with material. They just give us the value for that material. And the material, they issue out the material. If you can remember in the simple explanation I did, anytime they issue the material, the material that they issue will have to be in the debit side of our contract accounts. So the material issued in the question was 76,000 US dollar to materials issued. That's how we are going to write it. To the materials issued, $76,000. $76,000. Okay. And the next item in our question is direct wages. Of course, this is attributed into the contract. I mean, the wages of those that are directly related, that their effort is shown in the contract, their wages has to be in the debit side of the contract account because the law says debit the receiver and credit the giver. So, to direct wages, and it is 80,000 US dollars. All right, and the next one is the special plant. Wow, I think they have a special plant in that contract. That is why they created the room for that. It will also happen in our debit side of contract accounts. I'll write to cost of special plant which is how much? 20,000 US dollar. It's also much. And the next one is establishment charges. They give us that too in our question, right? The establishment charges the just a fee that they use to establish some kind of procurement in the contract. So our establishment charges will be the next item on the debit side of our contract account. And our establishment charges is $5,000, right? So let me now move into the credit side of the contract account because as the question is obvious, all those items I've touched them. I don't think there's anything that is needed to post it into the debit side. We are still preparing the contract account first. So the credit side now, if you can remember in the little explanation I said earlier, anything that's related to the material or that is they remove it out from that contract, it will credit out from this contract account. And remember, the question also said that we should prepare for contracting account. So if you credit something out from contract account here, definitely it will have to appear in the contractee's account at the debit side. So the debit credit side of our contract account, which is contract number 50. All right. So let me go through the question. Okay, good. The question, they say that the values of the material and plants that are being returned to store on the 31st of March 2020 was $6,000 and $12,000 respectively. Of course, we have to prepare, they return it out. So the material that are being returned to store will be the first one, which is $6,000. Materials to store by material to store $6,000. And the second one that they said is respectively is value of plant returned to store, which is $12,000. Plant returned to store. Plant returned to store, which is $12,000. Okay, so of course we've solved more than half of our question. And in that additional information, they told us that the contract was completed by the 31st March 2020 at a contract price of $200,000. This $200,000 will have to appear in the credit side of the contract account. The reason for this is quite simple. The reason is that the contractee's account will receive this $200,000 in its debit side of the account. The $200,000 will appear at the credit side of contract account because it is going to debit side of contractee's account. Of course, don't forget this 200,000 is the contract price, but I can write it as either contract price or I can write it as contractee's account because it is going into his account. Right, let me write contractee's account. Contract $200,000. Okay, so if you have to total the debit side and the credit side of this transaction, it will show that the balance of the credit side is way more higher than the balance of the debit side. And the remaining part is $30,000. That $30,000 will go to the profit or loss account. So this one will be in the debit side. So profit, sorry, let me use pi to represent profit. The profit or loss account, $30,000. If you will now total it, we are going to arrive at the same total, which is $218,000. Of course, if you do this, the rule of our trial balance has been met. Okay, we have did the contract account. Let us now prepare our contractee's account. The contractee's account will include the amount I said earlier, the $200,000, which is the contract price. it will appear in his debit side of the account. And also, if he received that amount, of course, he can't hold it. He has to credit it into his bank account. So for contractors account now, contractors account. Okay. All right. That amount was issued on the year 2020 March and on the 31st of March. Okay. They issued it as a, sorry, let me rule out first. 2020 March 31st. Okay. And the amount was contract account $200,000 first. It is coming from contract number 50. Contract number 50 account. And it is $200,000. Okay. The contractee has received that amount of $200,000. He cannot hold it in his hand, so he has to credit in. He has to credit it into his bank account. So it will now go to buy bank account, to buy bank account. All right, we are done with the contract account and the contractee's account. I hope this little simple calculation is taken as it relates to contract accounts.